Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for February 3rd, 2021. It's Wednesday. It's the man they call Meathead, and joined right away by the man they refer to as Matthew Thomas. It's Matthew Thomas.
Morning, you started the one way and then you went. I see what you did.
Hey, Matthew, how you feeling? I know that we had a big weekend in wrestling, and you for the first time ever had action in the PWR draft over the weekend.
That I did, and I got really, really close with a couple of my team members, and one of them actually came down to the very last two contestants in the men's Royal Rumble. He didn't quite pull it out, but I was okay.
Whoa!
Maybe he did when he was in the back, because he was in the back for a while.
Wow.
Is that would have been a controversial way to go off the air?
But that was the controversial ending that we read about on Dirt Sheets, right?
Yeah, maybe permanently go off the air. That would definitely take care of. The name of the new network is Peacock.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's talk about manscaped.com and clean up your base and everything else you got around there, like Frank Thomas and his dick pill stuff that he's doing. Let's talk about manscaped.com. 20% will get you, or PWR, the promo code to get you 20% off. Not 20% off the hair, 20% off the cost of removing the hair and getting yourself Manscaped. Get yourself silky smooth for Valentine's Day for your man or your woman, or your man and your woman. I don't know what you do. So manscaped.com, PWR is the promo code, 20% off and free shipping. And then more product coming out from our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com. As you saw on Impact Wrestling last night, Carl the Machine Gun Anderson wearing a nice brand new shirt on there. I don't think that one was new though. I think that's one of the older ones, but it's still one of my favorites. It was I can't think of the move now that he had on his shirt, but there is new D'Lo Brown merchandise up there as well. You're looking at the real deal now with the Adidas logo on it for D'Lo Brown. 10% off if you use promo code PWR360 at collarandelbowbrand.com. Matthew, let's talk a little bit about the Rumble. I know the Rumble's 3 days ago, but we didn't get to hear your opinion, your thoughts, and really kind of summarize how Royal Rumble 2021 felt for you.
I thought the pacing was superb. It was a much different pacing than they have done in years past, where you've had the men's and the women's. It's standard for one Rumble to open the show, one to close. That was not the case this year. We had a full two title matches prior to the first Rumble, which was the women's. It seemed a little odd at first, but I think it worked. There was probably the least investment in Goldberg-McIntyre of any match. And I think it made sense to get that out of the way.
And no slight to either competitor, no one cared.
No, because it was just kind of put there, and it was hopefully going to serve as a purpose of another big name legend for McIntyre to knock off, and that's what this was. But I think, it followed the same pattern that a lot of Goldberg's matches have followed on his return run, where it was. The match consisted almost entirely of finishing moves, and you can read into that what you want to about the psychology of those matches. But that's the direction they went, and I think it started the pay-per-view with the match where there probably was the least investment, but the outcome, I think, for most people was very favorable.
Not clear at all.
Yeah, in McIntyre, retaining. So. I think that was the right call to put that on first, and the women's championship that followed that. I think it was, that was the right placement of that. It was a fine enough match, and the women's Royal Rumble, really excellent booking. I think last year, I think this was probably, at least in my opinion, the best women's Rumble that I've seen. I thought it came together.
How many have there been? 3 or 4, maybe?
It's either 3 or 4. It's either 3 or 4. Becky first year, Charlotte second year, and this would have been the third.
Asuka won second year, I believe.
Oh, okay. So maybe this is the 4th. But anyway, that being said, we had been going on this show for quite a while about Rhea Ripley being the winner.
Yeah.
It almost happened. Where I started to get an inclination that that was not going to happen was after she started dominating people, because that Kane spot of the person with the most eliminations,
the Braun Strowman spot.
Yeah, they look really good, but a lot of times that's not your winner. A lot of times they do not telegraph it that distinctly during the Rumble. However, I think out of all the competitors in the Rumble, Rhea Ripley, her star probably, shined the brightest. And I think there's going to be very positive things with her hopefully coming up to that main roster very soon now.
This week or next week, probably.
Mm-hmm. Bianca Belair, I did not quite see it happening. It's not a huge surprise. What did surprise me with that is she's being booked strong right now on SmackDown, picking up a win over Bayley last week. And, she seems to be on that trajectory anyway. Little bit surprised by the fact that they went with her, because I don't necessarily view where she is at right now in the women's division on SmackDown as needing that catapult. I feel like that catapult would have still been better served with Rhea or somebody even further below the radar to A, get them to the main roster, to B,
to kind of slingshot them in.
Yep. Have you a catapult, slingshot? They're both.
I'm thinking of Ricky Bobby going over to Cal Naughton Jr. and going slingshot, engaged.
Yeah, that's exactly slingshots, catapults, pole vaults.
Ooh.
They all serve the same purpose. You go from point A to point B, and you kind of go up and over. And that's what the Royal Rumble does. But congratulations to Bianca Belair, Owens, Reigns. Solid enough match. You got some drone action. I know you were excited about that.
Did you hear me say on the show? I said, for the love of God, we got drones.
You got some drone action. You got some forklift and pallet action. I know ever since Daniel Bryan started driving that forklift around, you've always been a big fan of of heavy machinery in your title matches. Yeah. Not the tag team, but literal heavy machinery. So we got that. Here's the only thing with that is, you should not operate heavy machinery after you've been drinking or taking certain prescription drugs. You probably don't need to operate heavy machinery when you're in a fatigue state in a fight.
Shouldn't also be watching heavy machinery matches if you've been using your ED medication.
Yeah, that's just that creates a circumstance that it depends on if you've taken a Frank Thomas pill or not.
Right, that's exactly what I got at. So if you take a Frank Thomas pill, you want to make sure you get Manscaped, but don't use heavy machinery as your viewing material.
Here's the thing: we've started to see Doug Flutie appear with Frank Thomas. Where I'm going to get invested, where I might press that buy button on those pills, you get Nolan Ryan in that commercial, I'm game.
So you're saying that he's bringing it hard?
If that's the case, if Nolan Ryan pops up on that ad, Matthew Thomas is handing over some money.
All we need to do is have Robin Ventura come in and finish him off.
That's what people want to see.
All right. Finish us off, Matthew, with the Men's Royal Rumble.
Men's Rumble. 1 and 2. We knew the first two contestants going in. Now I think there's a little bit of discrepancy on the order as far as what was announced and who actually
the commentary cleared that up. Edge said he's not waiting and ran out first instead.
Oh, interesting. I got you. Here's what I think they did brilliantly that got me to the last minute. I was expecting it was going to be predictable in the sense that it was going to come down to Edge and
you knew Randy
Edge and Orton and Randy was going to come back. I think that most people saw into that. You're most likely expecting him to come back and win it because everybody forgot about him, or him to come back and there to be some type of Fiend appearance, because that's the thing with that story they're telling. I was expecting that to be the payoff, and to actually get to the end and have it play out where Orton comes back, but have Edge actually come out victorious. As predictable as the last two contestants were, Edge winning to me was very unpredictable because I feel like they were working the people that know traditional professional wrestling storylines and know, okay, he's coming back. You got that tight shot of Edge. They're going to pan out. Orton's going to come into the screen. I think you worked a lot of people. So I was very, very happy at the end to see Edge with the victory, and I think it was the right move. I didn't know it was the move that I wanted to see happen. Out of all Royal Rumble pools, PWR Fantasy Draft, if Orton would have won, Matt Damien would have picked up a Royal Rumble winner. But in
and
that
you would have
case,
took away 100 points from Drew Baydala, who got 590.
In that case, you know what? Give Drew the points and let me see Edge win the 2021 Royal Rumble. I look forward to see what champion he decides to go after. I'm hoping it's Roman because I feel like that's the story that needs to be told. And hey, you know, Roman is here to stay. This is a heck of a run, but if you do go Roman and Edge, don't necessarily go into this expecting this just to be a match to put Roman over. This has been a crazy year for everybody, a crazy year for wrestling fans, and I think Edge potentially winning the title at WrestleMania might be that feel-good moment that professional wrestling fans need
because,
right now.
you know, you can just give it back to Roman and he can have it for the rest of the year.
You can give it to him the next night.
All right. Huh. Well, you know, I had Braun. I had number 30. So while Braun apparently was announced on SmackDown, I must have missed it. I was excited thinking, oh, returning Braun. He might. Nah, it's not going to happen. Nah, I wanted some money, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's talk PWR draft while we've got it up in front of us right now. The new totals after the Royal Rumble. I'm going to say who's in first. I'm going to say their points, and then I'm going to say what they earned at the pay-per-view. The man they call Meathead still leading wire to wire so far. Since the first pay-per-view, we've got 5 shows left. I have 2,830 points. I scored 265 at the Royal Rumble. Catapulting, pole vaulting, slingshotting into second place. Andrew Baydala, Drew Bay, with 2,620 points. He set a new PWR draft record for a one-night total of 590 points. Holy shnikey. Falling to third, David Octavius Hero, 2,390 points. He scored 165 at the pay-per-view. Team Matt Damien, otherwise known as Matthew Thomas, 2,105 points. You scored 135 points at the pay-per-view. You scored the least amount of points. And still in last, but catching up to Team Matt Damien, Linda Kay at 1,795 points. She scored 230 at the pay-per-view.
Here's the thing. If I was an NBA player, I would have the single game scoring record.
Okay.
135 points. Nobody's ever scored that.
Yeah. Drew Bay scored 590.
So here's the
Drew
thing.
Baydala had both Rumble winners. He had Edge and Bianca Belair.
Well, I was going through and I was looking over the official correspondence and everything, and I picked up on something I don't know that anybody else has picked up on thus far. I don't believe when Drew Baydala picked up Edge that he specified it was WWE Edge. Drew Baydala, by mistake, because of a lack of specification, has actually picked up the Edge from U2. I don't know if you caught that or not.
The guitar player? Well,
yeah.
He won the Royal Rumble in Europe, so, it doesn't matter. Drew Baydala, 590 points. I don't know if we tweeted this out or not. I'd have to talk to the accounting firm to see if they reached out to the media team. But Drew, before the Royal Rumble, dropped SCU because of we're still working with the legal teams, being in first and me being the person I am. I'm still talking to the legal teams about how he was able to drop SCU because he said Christopher Daniels is retired. I think that dude was on Dynamite last night, but he wasn't in wrestling gear. He was just in workout shorts, like he just got done eating at catering. So apparently it slid by, but he was able to pick up Edge, who he drafted in the beginning, had to drop due to injury, and then picked him back up. He also picked up, let's talk about the pickups that Drew had over the last handful of months. A pickup of Bianca Belair, a pickup of Sasha Banks. Right before their big wins, he made the pickup. So all hating aside, because, I'm a player hater, Drew Baydala making some serious moves. Now, he's 210 points behind me. He's got 5 pay-per-views to catch up, and AEW is going to be a double points. So we'll have to see.
It sounds like he's getting a little too close to comfort is what it sounds like to me.
That's right. Too Close for Comfort starring Belky. Was he in that? No, Too Close for Comfort was Jefferson from Happy Days and from Married with Children. What was the dude's name on there?
Man.
Ted McKinley, the actor.
I don't know, but Balky needs more leading roles is all I got to say.
Yeah. So pay attention to the PWR socials. We'll get that information out there on what's going to happen. I feel some moves are coming because he's getting, as you say, he's getting a little too close for comfort. I will also be the first PWR draft participant since the inception to go wire to wire and win this whole thing. I'm telling you right now.
That sounds like a man who knows how to pick his wrestlers.
That's right. I also know how to pick my nose, but that's another story altogether. So let's talk wrestling action because, we're sitting here talking about everything that's already happened 3 days ago and what we do. Let's talk a little bit of news. WWE will be releasing Lars Sullivan. This, to me, even though it's news, is very old news. It didn't work for Lars, and he didn't help his cause when he stalked somebody's Instagram post. And so what did he say, Matthew? What was the exact phrasing?
I think it was something along the line. He requested visual images of someone's backside, I believe was what the technical term was.
Yeah, and she got freaked out by it. So
he's known as the Freak, though. That's his gimmick.
I understand, but sometimes you can't live your gimmick in real life because there's legal ramifications. So, Lars Sullivan, we wish the best to you, but we think you need to just walk away for a second. Edge coming up tonight on NXT. This just makes sense. One, his baby mama is a color commentator on NXT, Beth Phoenix. His wife is in Orlando. He's going to stop by and talk. I think him feigning interest in going after the NXT champion is going to make for some decent TV. But as far as the rest of TV on NXT tonight, I mean, we're going to have more Dusty Rhodes Cup tournament stuff, more tag team matches. And, that's pretty much all we got. No more Damian Priest on NXT. He was officially announced as a member of the Raw brand this last week. So, Matthew, what else do you think you're going to see tonight on NXT?
Yeah, I think the highlight is Edge's appearance. We've gotten really solid wrestling over the last several weeks, and traditionally you get that with tournament-style wrestling. I like the fact that the tournament's not predictable. You really don't know from week to week. It's really tough to call exactly what direction.
All right, Matthew Thomas, let's talk about AEW. Coming up tonight on AEW, we've got Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. We've also got the wedding. Did you notice that Chuck Taylor is not being referred to as a young boy anymore?
Yeah, they went away from the term young boy really, really quick. Maybe they did some research and he's not as young as they thought he was.
Young boy wasn't a good term. And to be honest, when I heard it, I was a little uneasy, especially with, I don't want to go too deep into this, but especially with the way, there's all the talk of Hollywood and all that other stuff and trafficking and all that stuff. The young boy term.
Just completely not needed. It did absolutely nothing to enhance the storyline. And I mean, it's not, you're not pushing any envelopes in 2021 that need to be pushed or that you get any credit or that you're deemed as edgy. Like, it's just absolutely unneeded and not a wise business move.
There's a tag team battle royal. Now, this is going to be for the number one shot, the number one contendership for the tag team championships at AEW Revolution. However, the wrinkle is that the Young Bucks will be in this match. If the Young Bucks win this tag team battle royal, they handpick their opponents. And they said they could be picking anybody, including a couple brothers. The good ones, if you will.
Oh, the good ones? I don't know that family.
The Godwins. The
Godwins are in AEW. Yeah. I mean, I think it seems pretty obvious that's the direction that they're going. We might be wrong. It could be very well too telegraphed, and the Bucks might be the first team eliminated. But I think something of that note is kind of hard to put out there and walk back. So I don't know that this match is going to have the outcome is going to be that surprising.
Lance Archer will take on Eddie Kingston in a lumberjack match. Now, me personally, I'd like to see that lumberjack match to be at the beginning of the show, so that way the lumberjacks, we know who's all in the building for that moment. Because if it's at the end, they could be battered and bruised and just sitting out there sweating, and who knows.
Yeah, we had a lumberjack match not too long ago in AEW, right? I feel like we've had
Hangman Page and Matt Hardy will team up since the first time since what was it, All Out, I think.
Yeah.
They're going to take on Chaos Project, and there is more action that happened in the main event. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers against Jon Moxley, the Bastard Pack and Ray Phoenix. That's the main event at Beach Break tonight on AEW on TNT. Matthew, what are you looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to the Paige and Hardy dynamic. It's interesting since we've been talking about everybody and their brother being in a stable on AEW. It's kind of the story they're telling with Paige right now, is the fact that he doesn't want to be that guy, and he's actually being courted very, very heavy-handedly, and this time by Matt Hardy. So I'd like to see Adam Page. I mean, for about a year now, he has been the most interesting person in that company to me. I think he's somebody that is young, that can really break out, and I think that is as close to homegrown talent as you got with AEW right now. Not that he didn't spend time in Japan and have a background prior to this, but I think as far as, AEW as a company, you've got to be really focusing on some homegrown talent. And by that, I mean people who've not been with WWE first. And I think Paige is one of those guys. I think Sammy's another one, in MJF, of course, but I think Paige is really in that front running as far as homegrown baby faces that you can really run with and build that company on. I didn't necessarily see it as much in the first AEW pay-per-view. He was in the first title match, and that Adam Page was not as developed.
You're talking about
character.
the battle ring, the one that MJF won?
No, but he was in the inaugural championship match against Jericho, the very first
right.
AEW pay-per-view. And, I think he's come a long way since then. And that's really a baby face you can hang your hat on as a company. So
a cowboy hat?
Cowboy hat, a feather cap, top hat. Let's see, other types of hats. What's the one LL Cool J wears?
A Jimmy hat?
No.
You're talking about his Kango?
Kango, yeah. One of those, the Kango. Yeah, he can hang a Kango on it.
Jimmy hat. We skipped over and I forgot to talk about it. Impact Wrestling tonight, last night. Impact Wrestling had a couple AEW talents on it. They had Matt Hardy and Private Party talking about their tag team title shot against the Good Brothers. Also, a friend of the program, of the PWR program. Bam! ODB returning. Hey, what are you doing here, ODB? I had my ODB's meat truck, or I'm sorry, I'm probably calling it the wrong name, but she's over there pulling pork and came on over to see if anybody needed a hand. So ODB back in Impact Wrestling.
ODB's meet and greet, I believe, is the technical name of the truck.
Well, I know she likes to pull pork and rub butts. So
yeah, and who doesn't?
I don't pull anybody else's pork. I don't have it manscaped. Sorry.
Yeah, good to see her back in action. Like I said, we've talked about AEW. AEW is doing a very good job of Impact doing a very good job of occasionally, reminding you the lineage of that Knockouts division. And I think last night was no exception.
You know what I'm really kind of getting into? I got to set my DVR to record a lot earlier. Is the big matches that they have on like the half hour before Impact goes on the air. Was it last night? Yeah, last night I saw them go off the air with Nash beating who did Nash pin? Nash pinned Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles got beat by Sting in the title match, and it was the main event Mafia.
Feels good to get, to just remember what TNA's done in the past. And like we talked about, I believe it was last week, it's not a history that I feel like
it's not celebrated enough.
Yeah, it gets celebrated like WWE does. And to, have those, but they've been around for 20 years, man. And there's those TNA matches that you've got nostalgia for, or you might have forgotten about, but,
and Claire Lynch.
In Claire Lynch, and you look at fondly freaking aces and eights.
Ooh. Hey, I've taken a second to, not that I'm here to plug any other podcasts, but have you listened to any Busted Open Radio?
Yes, I caught the Bobby Lashley interview last week, as a matter of fact.
Ironic. No, I listened to Bully and I listened to Mark Henry on Busted Open Radio. I re-upped my SiriusXM subscription.
Yeah.
So.
And I believe it's Thursdays and Fridays, or maybe just Fridays, but I think if you tune in at the right time, you can actually catch Justin LaBar on there.
Yeah, there you go. Love it. Love it. Love our boys getting some work done. So we've got work done today. We did a lot of work today. Hey, we're going to be back tomorrow morning talking everything AEW and NXT. For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.